Hello, here we are back again to continue this lily painting. So now I'm going to go into the lower portion of this study, this flower arrangement. Okay, so I'm coming in here. There is a stem that's in front of this big calla lily leaf. So I am going to start putting that in there with a mixture of ultramarine blue and yellow, my cat yellow, to get a green. And I will be assessing the light value against the darker value leaf, because that stem is kind of in between this very large leaf. So it's in front of a very dark leaf. So here I have to come in and make that separation. Now, in the photograph that I took, that stem and the dark leaf are like the same value. And I know just from having made an observation before that you actually see the difference where the stem is a lighter color, a lighter value. So I remember that, and it's a good thing because now you can improve the arrangement. You can improve it. You don't have to, sometimes we have to, don't just go by the photograph. That's our job as artists. You can take charge and make things the way you want them. Okay, so let me now, when something is folded, whether it's a leaf or a piece of paper, whatever it may be, at the place where it folds, it's always going to be a light, a straight line. So that is what happened right here with this calla lily leaf. So there's a very sharp edge where that fold is. And that's what I'm doing. And I think it's pretty cool that we get a leaf that has that going on. It kind of adds interest to the painting. And as you see the fold, there is a cast shadow where the fold is. And so that's why there's a little bit of a darker value right in here. Now, this actually, I think that I got a little bit of white where it doesn't belong. So I come in here with a clean brush. That happens to you before it dries. Just come in here and clean it up. All right. Okay, now we have a distinct separation between the stem, the leaf, and also, even in this leaf, in the stem that's behind that petal, I want to get a little darker in that portion of the stem because it's behind that petal. Okay? All right, so now our next, we're going on to the, with my background, eventually I am going to clean this up, make this a little bit tighter. Because of the angle of the way it is right now, I would have to turn it around so that I could have a better way to reach it. But so I'm going to wait a little bit on that to work on that side. But right now I want to get to this area here. I'm starting to work on the petals and the lilies. So there is a highlight right here at the base of that bud. And that bud, it's almost like this part of the stem is kind of holding on to that bud before it opens up, which is really nice to show up. And there's an area, it's almost looks like a transition or like a little neck where it gets to be a little darker. A little dark little space in here between. It almost, I think of it like it's the arm and the wrist and then the hand right there. Sometimes that's what it reminds me of. So okay. A little more shading. I'm going to squint my eyes. When I squinted my eyes, I could see that there's a little crevices in here along indentation, more like it, a longish, like right in here. And so. Okay, so now we're going to continue with the stems. So I just dipped my brush into the liquid. So I'm adding ultramarine blue and yellow, and it's ready to, I load it up and it's ready to paint. Okay, I think we're ready to go into the pink. Right now I loaded my brush with a little more of the yellow so that I can paint on top of that green, and then it goes into like striations. So I'm going to come in here with the yellow and do the same thing to this stem here. There we go, separating that stem from the background. Okay. So that's basically, that's a yellow-green mixture that we use quite a bit in this painting. Yellow-green, you have medium, like a royal green, then yellow-green, and then black-green, and then, yeah, a pretty good range of greens. All right, so we've got that portion. Yay, let's get to our pink lilies now. So here I come with the Now I'm kind of, this time I took my artistic license and I decided I wanted peachy pink lilies, because the previous painting I did it with just like red, orangey, kind of warm red, and I didn't want to do the same, but some of you wanted to see how I painted it, so I'm doing that now. And you have a choice to do your flowers any color that you want. So you make your mixture and you add your liquid so that you have enough paint so that you can just lay it on your canvas. At some point I'm going to figure out what areas, like there's a little that would be darker, like see right in this point here there should be a darker underneath, because of that curve of the tip of that petal is casting a shadow on the left side. So I will come back and darken that a bit. Also, there is a separation of this was one petal, this is another, so I'm going to add a little darker value in there to separate it. And from what I'm looking at right now, it looks like the colors that I'm seeing, it reminds me kind of like a shrimp or lobster color, which is pretty. So there's some rosy and there's some warm. That's why I called it peachy pink. So you're using your cadmium red and your yellow. All right, right in here this is one flower, and right over here is another one. So I want to separate it by adding more pigment to this flower, which is closer to the viewer's eye. Okay, now we see a separation. I'm running out of paint, so here I'm going to add a little more. So I mixed a tiny bit of the cool red and the warm red. With the white. So that creates a tint. All right, now I'm going to come in here with some chartreuse yellow-green to do those center, I call them striations inside here. And so it's like a tunnel going in there. So right now I just want to cover some of that white canvas with the green. And I'm taking some excess paint off the tip of my brush. And I'm coming back to get a lighter highlight in there. To me, I see this as the main flower. So it's worth it to spend a little more time with it. Now to the brush, I'm going to add a little bit of green, red, cat red, and I'm going to add some, it's a mixture of green and red, so to give me a little darker value in that indentation, that's that little bottom of that tunnel. Hopefully you can see the deep. And there's even in this area, I squint my eyes and I look at the photo and I see that the darker value in here, it's towards the top, and I'm coming in and adding that darker value on the upper side of the tunnel. Okay, all right, now I'm going to separate these two petals. There's two petals here, and one is above the other. Actually, this one is in front of that one there. So I'm adding a little highlight in that area. And there's a petal in here also, so I'm going to separate this one. And there's this one here. I'm going to separate that also with a lighter value. I'm going to go right. Okay, so now there's no question which one, where the separation happens. All right, so that's the idea. I want you to just continue with it and basically doing what I just did here, and you know, going back. Gets messy, clean it up a little bit. And I'm going to continue painting. The next thing I'm going to do, this isn't done. I'm going to come revisit this. This right here needs those highlights like I just did over here. The lighter ones right in here with the more of the white with the yellow green to make that pop up even more. Okay, now I'm going to start shading the vase. And it's a white vase, so we're going to mix our green and our raw umber, and it's going to also have kind of quite a bit of shadow, reflected color underneath especially underneath these petals. We want quite a bit of shading in there. If you squint your eyes, you're going to see it's very dark. So although it's a white vase, we need to have those very dark areas. Okay, so the rest, I think I'm going to stop for now. I want you to continue with your painting, and right here I'm just going to, I ran out of my white, but I'm going to come back and add some white, quite a bit of white with my gray. And the way I mix that is, remember, it's a raw umber and ultramarine blue, half and half, and then start adding the white in little increments until you get to a nice, like, different values of gray, and then you paint your base. And that's probably going to be the last video, maybe, I'm not sure, but we've got at least one more to go. Okay, I will leave it at that for now, and we'll come back soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.